Hey everybody, Seth Davis here for Campus Insiders. It's Wednesday, March 20th, day 2 of the 2013 NCAA tournament. Quick recap of last night and then a preview of what's to come tonight and the rest of the tournament. First of all, obviously an exciting win for North Carolina A&T. A disappointing performance for Middle Tennessee. Give St. Mary's credit for winning that game. A lot of people are trying to use Middle Tennessee's poor performance in that game to invalidate, if you will, the committee's decision to put them into the tournament. I do not agree with that, and I do not agree with the philosophy that how you perform in the tournament validates or invalidates what the committee does. Otherwise, there are going to be a lot of teams who by Saturday are going to have a harder time justifying their presence in the tournament. So St. Mary's marches on. We got two really good games that are coming up tonight again in the first four. The first one in the automatic qualifier game is between James Madison and LIU Brooklyn. If you recall last week, I talked about Long Island as a team that fit the profile of a 16 seed that could potentially pull off an upset against the number one. I think they're going to beat James Madison tonight. It's going to be a classic tortoise versus the hare type of game. LIU really wants to get out and go. James Madison really wants to slow it down. James Madison, their leading scorer, Rayshawn Goins, is not going to play in the first half. He was suspended after getting arrested at a party. I think that makes it more likely that LIU will win the game. Boise State and LaSalle is your second game. I like LaSalle to win. I felt like Boise State kind of lost some momentum towards the end of the season, but hey, if you like offensive up and down basketball, this is the game for you. It might be first one to 90 wins. LaSalle starts 4 guards and Boise State starts 5, most of whom are freshmen and sophomores, and a terrific guard matchup between Ramon Galloway at LaSalle and Derek Marks at Boise State, who's had some really big scoring games. So it might be first one to 90 wins. I think LaSalle is going to get there first, and LaSalle will march on into the bracket. As far as moving forward, I know you guys are filling out your brackets right now. I have filled mine out. So my number one piece of advice is don't use my picks, because I like to pick a lot of upsets. But going region by region, I have Louisville coming out of the Midwest over Michigan State. I think that Michigan State's physical presence will be a problem for Duke in the Sweet 16. And if that's the matchup, I think that Michigan State will win. But Louisville just too strong. I think they may have the most valuable player in the NCAA tournament in Gorgie Jang, their center, who was huge in the Big East tournament. I think will be huge all along. So I have Louisville marching on. In the West, I know a lot of people picking against Gonzaga. I consider myself one of them. I think Gonzaga drew a very difficult corner of their bracket with a lot of really physical teams, especially Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a team that if you play in the Big Ten, you might be used to playing that style, but getting outside of the league becomes more of a challenge. Gonzaga wants to run, and they don't like it when teams get physical with them. I think that's a good formula for Wisconsin, but I do have Wisconsin losing to New Mexico in the regional final with New Mexico marching on. I don't know how much of an opportunity you guys have had to watch New Mexico play this year. I've watched a ton of games. I'm not sure I've seen them take one bad shot all season long. Very well coached, efficient, and a great center inside in 7-foot sophomore Alex Kirk. Over in the South, I think that Kansas actually has a fairly comfortable road to the Final Four. Forgive me for saying it. I think Florida might be the most overrated team in this tournament. I'm not a big Florida fan. They couldn't win on the road in a very weak SEC, and they couldn't beat Ole Miss in the championship game. Georgetown, I think, is a solid number 2 seed, but I think there's a little bit of a ceiling in terms of Georgetown's talent. So I like Kansas going to the Final Four. And then the East was the toughest call between Indiana and Miami. I went with Miami because I think that having 4 seniors, along with Shane Larkin, who's possibly the best point guard in the country, kind of tipped the balance. That was a coin flip. I went with Miami to the Final Four, so I have Louisville over Miami in the championship game. So that's how I see it breaking out. And last, I'll give you my upset specials. If you want to get crazy and take a pick, how about Belmont over Arizona? Arizona has a hard time defending the three-point shot, and Belmont really spreads the floor. I like Bucknell to beat Butler. It's unusual in a 6-11 game that the 11 seed actually has the best player on the floor, and Bucknell will have that in their 6'11" senior Mike Muscala. And then my crazy pick, one of my big mouth pick, I have Montana beating Syracuse. Montana's a very good team. They went 19-1 in the Big Sky. They did lose their leading scorer, Ward Mathias, to an injury in mid-February, but they still won the Big Sky Conference tournament. And you saw Syracuse unravel against Louisville. You saw them lose some games and look really bad doing it down the stretch of the regular season in the Big East. So if you really want to take a chance and get crazy and look the way I look in March, which is usually wrong, then go with Montana over Syracuse. I will be here on CampusInsiders.com every morning of the tournament, breaking down that day's games and giving you a quick recap of the night beforehand. So come back often to CampusInsiders.com. We've got March Madness covered.